Story 1. Meditation and physical activity. I am more active in these activities. Somehow, I am doing great and feeling good about what I have accomplished, and I am proud. Story 2. Journaling has been a game changer for me. It is like having a low-budget therapist who is available 24/7. I write down everything that is bugging me, and somehow seeing it on paper makes it seem more manageable. Plus, doodling in the margins is a nice bonus stress reliever. Story 3. Cognitive restructuring, my favorite technique, involves looking for evidence that my worries or thoughts are unlikely, incoherent, or incorrect. For example, I might think, my friends probably hate me. I would then ask myself, what evidence do I have that could prove this? What evidence do I have to prove that they, in fact, do not? Story 4. When I'm sitting in the moment of anxiety, I do this. I breathe. A deep, long inhale. A comfortable, collapsing exhale. I focus on my breathing and my working lungs and not on whatever problem has triggered my anxiety. Once I feel calmer, I look at the problem that's causing the anxiety. I imagine the worst-case scenario. What if my deepest worry actually materialized? I then figure out what I would do if that actually happened. Once I realize that, even though it's not something I wish to go through, that there is a path out of it, I feel calmer and in more control. I think back to other times I've felt this way, and the eventual outcome wasn't as difficult to deal with as I had imagined. For me, it's the loss of control and the unknown that causes my mental and emotional discomfort. Once I have an idea of a possible plan forward, it doesn't feel so scary. Hope this is of some help to you. Story 5. As someone going through a tough time right now, thank you everyone. Edit. I didn't expect to get this much attention, but like I said below, I'll be okay. Life has its ups and downs, and this is just one stretch of the journey. Many people suggested medication and therapy. I'm a huge supporter of mental health medications and destroying the negative stigma linked with taking them. I'll be okay. And if you're going through a tough time too, you'll be okay too. Sometimes we get bombarded and just need to take shelter for a bit for the danger to pass. Story 6. I will go out and get groceries or something I have been meaning to get for my place. It is not like impulse buying, but rather something I need that I have just been putting off. It gets me doing something productive. I am outside, and then I feel one step ahead of where I was when I was feeling down. Playing music, going to the gym, or just any hobby really. Story 7. Deep breathing, mindfulness meditation, exercise, journaling, limiting caffeine and sugar, setting aside worry time, speaking with someone, finding distractions, practicing gratitude, and avoiding procrastination. Story 8. For me, it was overcoming the first step, to be honest. I'm a really anxious introvert that got hooked on everything within her comfort zone. The first step I took was using social media only once a day. This forced me to find another hobby, which started with walking. Winter was approaching, so I had to walk inside, which meant I had to go to a gym without my phone. I just started with earphones not even connected to anything. This led to me going to the gym and forgetting my earphones, but still going there. I started getting in shape, lost the fear of missing out, and was able to talk to real people, starting with them saying hi to me instead of the other way around. But it happened in my gym, since at some point you'll become one of them, since they see you regularly now. I'm not anxious anymore. I know this isn't the thing for everyone, but I know that it can only contribute to becoming a better version of yourself. Story 9. Acutely or aggregately? Acutely. Try to focus on the present moment. Look around, take some deep breaths, and assess that nothing is currently wrong or disastrous in that moment. Additionally, it may be helpful to engage in something such as a hobby, a walk, etc. to distract yourself. Aggregately. And hear me when I say this, do something that will fill your bucket daily, weekly, etc. Your bucket will fill 2 to 3% each day and be emptied out 1 to 2% from life's absurdities. 6 months will go by, and you'll be 30 to 40% better. 12 to 18 months will go by, and you'll be 90% better. Just trust the process, take care of yourself, and never give up. Story 10. Many people here have given great lifestyle advice like exercise, meditation, and journaling. So I want to jump in with an in-the-moment practice that helps me. It's based on the adage that you are not your thoughts, which basically means that even if you think something, it doesn't define you. It's not you. It's just a thought that's crossing through your brain. You can choose to pick that thought up and hold it, or you can stand back and watch it pass by and let the next thought come. So what I've done is sort of imagine my thoughts as being in little boxes on a conveyor belt. As they come, I pick them up and open them and see what's inside. And if it's an anxiety thought, I imagine myself just closing the box and putting it back on the belt and saying, "Thanks, but I'll wait for the next one," and letting it travel away. It sounds silly and trite, but it's actually helped me a surprising amount to deal with acute spikes. Good luck. You are doing better than your anxieties want you to think you are. Edit. If this is intriguing to you, please also check out the reply from AskReddit. They have added some great context and additional methods that might help as well. Story 11. Seriously, beta blockers can be a huge help for anxiety-inducing situations, intimidating social events, public speaking, etc. They simply suppress the adrenaline surge of an overactive fight or flight response. No more flushes and flop sweat. Story 12 depends on the type of anxiety, and my type of anxiety bingo card is about full, so I do lots of things. Health anxiety involves square breathing and not Googling stuff. Focusing on times I've gotten through periods of it before also helps. General anxiety, as hard as it is, requires distraction, literally any task that might just stop me from spiraling. Listening to happy music, something I associate with having a good time or a happy memory, combats it with positive thoughts and also remembering that whatever I'm worrying about might not come to pass. I know it may sound cliche, but yoga has helped me with a lot of my anxiety too, and also discussing it and normalizing it. Often, when I was a child, I was shouted at for panicking, which just made it worse. Being kind to myself and accepting I have it has really improved how I cope with it. Story 13. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Breathe out from your mouth for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds. Repeat for a few minutes. Story 14. One technique that I was taught, which I find to be quite good, is to ground yourself. Pick 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can touch, and so on. The number 5 can be any number and is probably better a bit lower because of the lack of answers, but the concept is still the same. It's supposed to get your mind working in the right way when it's being flooded in the wrong way, and basically help you control the thought process. Story 15. I like to divide anxiety into 2 different types. 1. Momentary anxiety, and 2. Structural anxiety. The first is when you get an anxiety attack. You are doing something and then it hits you. I personally get paralyzed, need to lie down, or seek a quick hit from one of my vices. For this type, I think people in the thread have been giving great advice. Journaling, meditation, exercise, coming back to a ritual like drinking tea, taking a cold shower, or anything like that. But what has improved my life the most is dealing with structural anxiety. For example, one of the things that made me feel momentary anxiety is realizing that I'm behind other people in life. I would be browsing social media or something like that and see an accomplishment somebody else had shared. That made me feel like I was behind in life, throwing away my potential, etc., and lead to an anxiety attack. What I started doing is attacking the source of anxiety. It is natural for people to have accomplishments that I don't, the same way I have accomplishments that they don't. Even then, it is okay for someone to accomplish something. Life is not a zero-sum game, and we all have different paths. And why am I browsing social media if it seldom makes me feel happy and often makes me feel desperate? Story 16. Control something you can control. Feel like life is slipping and you're overwhelmed? Pick one small thing you can control and do it. I usually start by cleaning my room until it sparkles. Hey, now I feel good because I accomplished something. Then I find something else I can control, maybe my exercise, and I go for a 2-mile walk to get some good air and see people going about life. Then I come home to a perfectly clean room. Next, I'll control what I eat. Maybe cook a healthy or cozy meal like some pancakes, eggs, sausage, and fruit, or some baked fish and vegetables. After all that, I'm in a mood believing I can do whatever I want to, and whatever I need to. Just start small by controlling something you can control. Story 17. Spend time with friends or meet other people through activities such as volunteering, sport or social clubs, or peer support groups. If you're able to talk to people about how you feel, it can help reduce your anxiety. Sometimes saying what's worrying you out loud can take away its power over you. Story 18. The secret is understanding that anxiety, specifically anxiety and panic attacks, are natural, helpful biological mechanisms, and to redefine your relationship to them. This sounds heady, but it's really grounded. I used to have anxiety attacks from day to night for 5 years. There were a couple of reasons why, and also a few reasons why I didn't want to take medications. But basically, I had unlimited time to find a solution, and so I tried almost everything. Almost everything out there is meant to help symptoms. Very little helps you battle the root cause. What worked for me was discovering that panic and anxiety attacks, specifically, are just insanely good ways for our body to dump excess stress energy. We are all walking around with existential anxiety, task anxiety, identity anxiety, etc. All of these stressors created by our environment and our worldviews, which dictate how we relate to our environment. Your mind and your body do not like this. It is not pleasant. So they are both in constant pursuit of some way to ditch this energy, especially when it becomes overwhelming. Addictions, avoidance, etc. They are all different ways for your body or mind to ditch this energy. But when your body finds panic attacks, oh man, it loves them. For many people, panic attacks shut them down and force them to dump all of this stress energy in a very short period of time. This is extremely unpleasant, but it is very effective at what your body wants to do. So what's the solution? Basically, just redefining your relationship to panic or anxiety attacks. Understand they are purely mechanical, understand they are effective, understand they serve a need, and then just allow them to happen. The more you recognize and allow them to happen, as opposed to fighting them, the less and less intrusive they become. If you can honestly welcome them when they happen, you will absolutely inoculate yourself against them. I used to have panic attacks daily, all day, for years. Now, if I do have one, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm having a panic attack. It is gone in 30 seconds, and it is a fraction of the intensity it used to be. The harder part is adjusting your environment and worldview so that you don't constantly build up this existential or task-based stress. But that's the entire point, goal, journey of your life. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that part for you. Story 19. Meditation is a very good method. Another one can be to drink tea and take a hot shower. Feed your mind with positive thoughts that everything is going to be all right. Story 20. I try to turn it into a resource. I have had violent anxiety for years. It is a curse, so at least I try to take advantage of it. Some of the ideas I wrote down during peak anxiety at 4 a.m. solved some problems I had been stuck on for weeks. It is like the brain works extra hard in these moments. When I cannot come up with an actual idea, I write down a tiny step that goes towards reducing the source of my anxiety. They are not a solution, they just go in the direction of reducing the problem. For example, when my brain goes, "You messed up at work, you are so dumb, everyone will know how incompetent you are, and you will get fired," I give myself the task to complete a short online class so I am more qualified in case I need to find a new job. Projecting myself in the future with a concrete task helps to calm down. And I have completed hundreds of those classes. Now, recruiters think I am passionate, all thanks to my anxiety. Hope it helps a little bit. Good luck. Story 21. If I start randomly feeling anxious, I do a checklist. Am I immediately in danger? What was I doing when I started feeling this way? Am I having repetitive thoughts about anything in the back of my mind? Are any of those thoughts rooted in reality? That usually helps me figure out where the feeling came from, if there is anything I can or should do about it, and if my brain just needs a second to chill. Story 22. When I had a very stressful job, I used this app called Calm. My sister, who also has a stressful job, got me a subscription. Not promoting it by any measure, but it was useful. I would go on break, find a quiet place, and listen to a meditation or stress-relieving bit. It was also good for sleep. I haven't used it since I left that job and found out that it wasn't really about the stress of the job. It was that the job was bad. My current job can be far more stressful, but the company is a lot more supportive. Story 23. I don't do it often, but I feel like yoga helps distract the mind by moving the body, and it's not something like running or weightlifting. A good 25-minute nap with an alarm set helps me reset my day and mindset pretty easily as well. Something I do frequently. Story 24. I give my anxiety and intrusive thoughts a name so it's easier to dismiss them. I think to myself, not now, Deborah. We don't have time for this. It's like they're these obnoxious backseat drivers. And sometimes I just need to remind myself that I'm in the driver's seat. And Deborah's full of nonsense, but she's just trying to keep us all safe. The quicker I can recognize, whoa, that's an intrusive thought. It's not real. The easier it is to keep from spiraling. Story 25, hydroxyzine, but mainly because it just puts me to sleep, which is often hard to do because of anxiety. Can't be anxious when you're unconscious.